How to Force Your Brain to Do Hard Things. Written and published by United Sports. Your mind is not your friend when it comes to doing hard things. It seeks comfort, not challenge. It craves ease, not effort. Every time you try to push yourself beyond your limits, a voice inside whispers, "Why struggle when you can relax?" That voice is the enemy of progress. It convinces you to stay in bed instead of working out. It tells you to delay an important task until tomorrow. It keeps you stuck in the same routine while life moves forward without you. But here's the truth. Success, growth, and self-mastery begin the moment you silence that voice and force your brain to embrace discomfort. Most people live in a cycle of comfort, unaware that their own mind is the biggest obstacle to their growth. The human brain is designed for survival, not for success. It avoids pain and seeks pleasure. It looks for shortcuts, avoiding anything that feels like a struggle. But here's the secret. Everything worthwhile in life comes from pushing through discomfort. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation happens when you step beyond what feels easy. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you must understand one fundamental rule. Growth and comfort can never exist together. The moment you choose comfort, you reject growth. The moment you choose growth, you must embrace discomfort. That's why the most successful people in the world are not the most talented, not the smartest, but the ones who are willing to do what others avoid. They train their minds to embrace challenges instead of running from them. The reason why most people fail to achieve their dreams is not because they lack talent or resources, it's because they allow their minds to control them instead of taking control of their minds. The brain is like a muscle. If you train it to choose effort over ease, it becomes stronger. If you let it fall into laziness, it weakens. The choice is yours. Either you train your brain to work for you, or it will work against you. United Sports is here to remind you that your potential is far greater than your excuses. The only thing standing between you and success is the battle between your comfort zone and your desire to grow. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. If you don't force your brain to do hard things now, you'll spend your life wishing you had. Think about the moments in your life when you truly felt proud of yourself. Were they times when you took the easy route? Or were they moments when you pushed through fear, resistance, and struggle to accomplish something meaningful? Growth is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be challenging. But that challenge is what makes it rewarding. The harder the journey, the greater the transformation. Right now, your mind might be trying to convince you that this message is inspiring but difficult to apply. That's exactly how resistance works. It makes you believe that starting is too hard. But the truth is, the only way to change your mindset is to start before you feel ready. You don't wait for motivation. You create it through action. Once you take the first step, the second step becomes easier. Every time you choose to step outside your comfort zone, you are training your brain to become stronger, more resilient, and more disciplined. It's like sharpening a blade. The more you use it, the sharper it gets. The same rule applies to your mind. The more you force it to embrace hard tasks, the easier it becomes to do them. That's why successful people are not special. They are simply conditioned to do what is difficult. You must recognize that your comfort zone is the enemy of your goals. It might feel safe, but it is also where dreams go to die. No great achievement was ever made inside the comfort zone. Whether you want to build a business, improve your health, or master a skill, you must be willing to endure discomfort. If you don't, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. The battle between comfort and growth is not a one-time fight. It's a daily war. Every day, you will face choices. Wake up early or hit snooze. Work hard or take it easy, push through or give up. Every choice you make is either strengthening or weakening your discipline. You must train your brain like an athlete trains their body. The more you exercise your willpower, the stronger it gets. The more you let comfort win, the weaker you become. Your future depends on how you fight this battle. Will you choose temporary ease or long-term greatness? Will you let your mind dictate your actions, or will you take control of your mind? The answer to these questions will shape your life. Decide now that you will no longer be a prisoner of comfort. Decide now that you will force your brain to do the hard things, because that is where true power lies. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to United Sports for more life-changing content. And remember, the battle between comfort and growth is won in your mind before it is won in your actions. Train your brain, and success will follow. Understanding how the brain resists hard work. Your brain is a master of resistance. The moment you decide to do something difficult, it immediately creates excuses, distractions, and doubts. It tells you that you're too tired, too busy, or not ready. It convinces you that starting tomorrow is just as good as starting today. But here's the truth. Your brain is not designed to help you grow. It is designed to keep you safe. Into the brain, safe means avoiding effort, struggle, and anything that feels uncomfortable. This is why the hardest part of any challenge is simply getting started. Your mind creates barriers before you even take the first step. The human brain is wired for efficiency, not for greatness. It wants to conserve energy, avoid pain, and seek out pleasure. That's why it always pushes you towards the easy route. Whether it's scrolling on your phone instead of working, sleeping in instead of exercising, or procrastinating instead of making progress. Your brain does not care about your dreams. It only cares about keeping you comfortable. And unless you take control of it, it will always steer you away from the very things that will make you successful. Most people never realize that their biggest enemy is not external circumstances but their own minds. They think they lack motivation, when in reality, they are just allowing their brain's resistance to control them. The problem is not that you don't want to work hard. It's that your brain has conditioned you to avoid discomfort. Every time you listen to your excuses, you reinforce this habit. Every time you delay action, you strengthen the resistance. And over time, this pattern becomes automatic, making it harder and harder to break free. Understanding this resistance is the first step to overcoming it. The moment you recognize that your brain is working against you, you take back control. You stop believing the excuses. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop letting resistance dictate your actions. Instead, you push forward, not because it's easy, but because you refuse to be controlled by fear, laziness, or self-doubt. This is the mindset of high achievers. They don't allow their feelings to determine their actions. They take action regardless of how they feel. Your brain uses three main tactics to keep you from doing hard things: fear, procrastination, and distraction. Fear makes you doubt yourself. It tells you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. It makes hard tasks seem impossible. Procrastination convinces you that you can always do it later, tricking you into believing that delaying something is harmless. But every time you procrastinate, you make it harder to start. And finally, distraction keeps you busy with meaningless tasks. You convince yourself that you're being productive, but in reality, you're just avoiding the real work. If you want to force your brain to do hard things, you must recognize these tricks and shut them down before they take over. The moment fear creeps in, remind yourself that action is the cure. The moment procrastination whispers in your ear, take one small step forward. The moment distraction pulls you away, refocus on what truly matters. Success is not about feeling motivated. It's about training your brain to follow through, even when you don't want to. The reason why some people achieve great things while others remain stuck is not because they are more talented, but because they have trained their brains to embrace struggle instead of running from it. They understand that resistance is a sign that they are on the right path. The harder something feels, the more valuable it is. Growth comes from pushing through the moments when your brain tells you to stop. Every time you override your mind's resistance, you become mentally stronger. Discipline is built through repetition. The more you force yourself to do hard things, the easier they become. Your brain starts to adapt. It learns that discomfort is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Over time, the very things that once seemed impossible become second nature. This is how you develop an unstoppable mindset, by training your brain to follow through, no matter how much it resists. United Sports is here to remind you that your mind can either be your greatest weapon or your biggest obstacle. The choice is yours. If you continue to let resistance win, you will stay exactly where you are. But if you decide, right now, that you will no longer be a prisoner of your own mind, you will start to see incredible changes in your life. Growth is not about talent or luck. It is about winning the battle against your own resistance every single day. You must understand that the brain will never stop resisting. It will never stop trying to pull you towards comfort. That is why this is a lifelong battle. But here's the good news. The more you fight back, the easier it becomes. The more you push through resistance, the less power it is over you. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are simply stuck in a cycle of comfort that you can break, starting now. So what will you do? Will you keep letting your brain control you, or will you take control of your brain? The answer to that question will determine the rest of your life. Decide today that you will no longer be a victim of your own mind. Decide today that you will force your brain to do the hard things, no matter how much it resists. Because the moment you do, everything will change. Rewiring your mind for discipline and focus. Your brain is like a wild horse. It wants to run free, chase distractions, and avoid anything that feels like effort. But if you want to achieve greatness, you must take control of your mind and train it to work for you instead of against you. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build, step by step, through repetition and conscious effort. Focus is not a talent. It is a skill that must be developed. If you don't take charge of your thoughts, the world will control them for you. The ability to stay disciplined and focused is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Most people struggle with discipline because they rely on motivation, and motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's easy to feel motivated when you're inspired, but what happens when that feeling fades? This is where most people give up. But those who rewire their minds for discipline don't wait for motivation, they take action regardless of how they feel. They understand that discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. The moment you train your brain to stop negotiating with laziness, everything changes. Focus is under attack in today's world. Social media, notifications, and endless distractions are designed to hijack your attention. The more scattered your focus, the harder it becomes to do deep, meaningful work. That's why you must protect your mind like a fortress. If you allow distractions to control you, you will never build the discipline needed to do hard things. You must set clear boundaries, eliminate distractions, create a structured routine, and train yourself to work with intensity. Focus is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things without losing momentum. Rewiring your mind for discipline starts with breaking the habit of instant gratification. The brain craves quick rewards, but success comes from delayed gratification. The more you train yourself to resist easy pleasures in favor of long-term growth, the more disciplined you become. This is why successful people wake up early, exercise even when they don't feel like it, and stick to their commitments. They have trained their brains to prioritize what matters most over what feels good in the moment. If you find yourself constantly procrastinating, it's not because you are lazy, it's because your brain has been conditioned to avoid discomfort. But you can change this by forcing yourself to start, no matter how small the step. Action creates momentum, and momentum fuels discipline. The hardest part of any task is the beginning. Once you start, your brain adapts, and continuing becomes easier. This is why the most powerful strategy for building discipline is simply to take the first step, no matter how small. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking discipline requires extreme willpower. The truth is, discipline is built through systems, not just willpower. You must create an environment that makes discipline easier. Set up habits that remove unnecessary decisions. If you struggle to wake up early, set your alarm far from your bed. If you want to work out consistently, lay out your gym clothes the night before. The more you automate your good habits, the less energy you waste on deciding whether or not to do them. Your identity plays a huge role in discipline. If you see yourself as someone who struggles to stay focused, you will continue to struggle. But if you shift your identity and start seeing yourself as a disciplined person, your actions will begin to align with that belief. Every small win reinforces your identity. When you complete a difficult task, tell yourself, I am the kind of person who gets things done. When you resist a distraction, remind yourself, I am in control of my focus. The more you reinforce this identity, the stronger your discipline becomes. There is a reason why the best athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world have extreme discipline and focus. It's not because they are special, it's because they have trained their minds to operate differently. They don't negotiate with excuses. They don't let their feelings dictate their actions. They understand that success is not built on how they feel at any given moment. It is built on what they do consistently. If you want to succeed, you must learn to think and act like them. Every time you resist the urge to procrastinate, you are rewiring your brain. Every time you push through discomfort, you are strengthening your discipline. It is a process that requires patience, but over time, it transforms you. At first, forcing yourself to focus and stay disciplined feels difficult. But just like a muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it becomes. The hardest part is the beginning. If you can push through that, discipline becomes second nature. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the ability to stay disciplined when others quit. It is the ability to focus when others get distracted. The moment you decide that you will no longer allow your mind to control you, everything changes. You start to see results. You start to feel powerful. You start to realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Rewiring your mind for discipline and focus is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong process. Every day, you must choose between what is easy and what is necessary. Every day, you must remind yourself that your success depends on your ability to stay committed. You must be willing to do what most people won't so you can live the life most people can't. Train your mind, protect your focus, and develop the discipline to do what must be done. No matter what, this is just the beginning. In the next part, we will break down the science of motivation and how you can turn hard tasks into automatic habits. Stay committed to the process, and remember, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The science of motivation, turning hard tasks into habits. Motivation is a lie. It is not something you wait for, it is something you create. Most people believe that they need to feel motivated before they can take action. They wait for the perfect moment, the right mindset, or a sudden burst of inspiration. But here's the harsh truth. If you rely on motivation, you will never accomplish anything great. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. What you need is a system, a process that turns hard tasks into automatic habits so that success becomes inevitable. Your brain is wired to resist change. It prefers familiarity because it takes less effort. That's why starting something new always feels difficult. But once an action becomes a habit, your brain no longer fights it. Think about brushing your teeth. It's not something you struggle to do because it has been repeated so often that it requires no effort. Now, imagine if working out, studying, or waking up early felt just as automatic. That is the power of turning hard tasks into habits. The key to making something a habit is repetition and consistency. When you first start, your brain resists. It makes excuses, it feels uncomfortable, it wants to quit. But if you push through and repeat the same action daily, the resistance fades. Research shows that it takes about 66 days for a new behavior to become a habit. That means, for the first few weeks, you will have to force yourself. You won't feel like doing it. But if you stay consistent, one day, it will no longer be a struggle. It will just be part of who you are. Most people fail because they rely on willpower alone. Willpower is like a battery. It drains throughout the day. The more decisions you make, the weaker your willpower becomes. That's why you must create habits that remove the need for decision-making. If you struggle with waking up early, set your alarm across the room, so you have to get up. If you want to exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to read more, place a book where you usually keep your phone. Small changes like these eliminate excuses and make success automatic. Another powerful way to build habits is through habit stacking. This means attaching a new habit to an existing one. If you already drink coffee in the morning, add 5 minutes of journaling right after. If you always take a shower, do 10 push-ups before getting in. By linking new behaviors to things you already do, you make them easier to remember and repeat. Over time, these small actions add up and create massive change. Your environment also plays a huge role in shaping your habits. If you are surrounded by distractions, temptations, and negativity, it will be nearly impossible to stay disciplined. That's why successful people design their environment to support their goals. If you want to eat healthy, don't keep junk food in your house. If you want to be productive, remove social media apps from your phone. If you want to be surrounded by success, spend time with people who push you to be better. Your habits are not just about willpower. They are about creating an environment where success is the only option. One of the biggest mistakes people make is setting unrealistic expectations. They start with too much intensity, burn out quickly, and then quit. Instead of trying to wake up at 5 a.m., work out for 2 hours, and read a book every day from the start, focus on small, consistent improvements. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Exercise for 10 minutes. Read just 1 page. These small habits may seem insignificant, but over time, they compound into massive success. The goal is not to do everything at once. The goal is to get 1% better every day. When building habits, failure is inevitable. You will miss a workout. You will procrastinate. You will break the streak. But what separates winners from quitters is how they respond to failure. Most people make one mistake and give up completely. But the key is to never miss twice. If you fail today, get back on track tomorrow. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Progress is not about perfection, it's about consistency. The ones who succeed are not the ones who never fail, they're the ones who never stop. Your brain craves rewards, and you can use that to your advantage. When forming a new habit, attach a small reward to it. If you complete a workout, watch an episode of your favorite show. If you finish a difficult task, treat yourself to something you enjoy. Over time, your brain starts associating hard work with positive feelings, making it easier to stay consistent. The key is to make sure the rewards don't contradict your goals. Don't reward a workout with junk food. Reward it with something that pushes you further. One of the most powerful motivators is identity shift. Instead of focusing on what you need to do, focus on who you want to become. If you want to build a habit of working out, don't just say, "I want to exercise more." Tell yourself, "I am an athlete." If you want to read more, say, "I am a reader." When you adopt a new identity, your actions naturally follow. Every time you complete a habit, you reinforce that identity, and soon, it becomes part of who you are. The reason most people struggle with motivation is because they are too focused on results instead of the process. They expect instant success and get discouraged when they don't see immediate progress. But real change takes time. The people who succeed are not the ones who chase quick results. They are the ones who fall in love with the process. They show up every day, no matter what. They do the work, even when they don't feel like it. And eventually, success becomes inevitable. If you want to transform your life, stop waiting for motivation. Create a system. Build habits. Remove excuses. Shape your environment. Shift your identity. The people who win in life are not the most motivated. They're the ones who take action, no matter how they feel. And once you master this, there will be no limit to what you can achieve. Breaking through mental barriers and excuses. Your mind is the greatest weapon you have, but it can also be your biggest enemy. Every time you try to take a step forward, it will throw obstacles in your path: doubts, fears, distractions, and most of all, excuses. Excuses are the lies the mind tells to keep you from stepping into discomfort. "I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have the time." These thoughts may seem harmless, but in reality, they are the invisible chains holding you back from your true potential. If you want to break free, you must recognize excuses for what they are: barriers that exist only in your mind. Most people fail in life not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they let excuses control their actions. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time to start. There will always be something that makes the journey difficult. But those who succeed are not the ones who wait for the right conditions. They are the ones who take action despite the obstacles. They refuse to be held back by fear, laziness, or doubt. They understand that growth only happens when you break through the mental resistance that tries to hold you back. Your brain is programmed to avoid pain and seek pleasure. That's why it constantly looks for reasons to avoid hard work. The moment you decide to challenge yourself, resistance kicks in. This is why going to the gym feels harder on some days, why starting a new project seems overwhelming, why pushing yourself beyond your limits feels impossible. But here's what you need to know: resistance is a sign that you are on the right path. The harder your mind fights back, the more important it is for you to push forward. Every successful person you admire has had to fight this same battle. The difference is, they learned to stop listening to their excuses. They learned that the mind's resistance is just noise, an illusion designed to keep them in their comfort zone. The only way to silence that noise is to take action. The moment you start moving forward, the excuses lose their power. The moment you prove to yourself that you can push through discomfort, your brain starts working for you instead of against you. One of the biggest excuses people make is that they don't feel motivated. But motivation is a myth. It's unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. If you depend on motivation, you will never be consistent. The real secret to success is discipline, the ability to take action even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. It's what allows people to wake up early, train hard, stay focused, and push through challenges no matter how they feel. You must realize that your brain will always look for the easy way out. It will try to convince you that your goals are too hard, that you should take a break, that you should wait until you feel ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready. Growth is uncomfortable. Success requires struggle. If you're waiting for an easy path, you will wait forever. The only way forward is to stop negotiating with your mind. Stop allowing yourself to make excuses. Stop giving yourself an option to quit. The moment you decide to break through your mental barriers, everything changes. You start seeing excuses as challenges to overcome, not reasons to stop. You start developing mental toughness, the ability to keep going even when it gets hard. And as you push past one limitation after another, you begin to realize something powerful: there are no real limits. The only limits that exist are the ones you believe in. The moment you stop believing in them, they disappear. Think about all the times in your life when you let excuses hold you back. How many opportunities did you miss because you were afraid? How many goals did you abandon because they seemed too difficult? How many dreams did you push aside because you told yourself it wasn't the right time? The truth is, every excuse you've ever made has stolen something from you. But you don't have to let it keep happening. You can decide right now that enough is enough. Breaking through mental barriers is not a one-time event. It's a daily battle. Every day, you must choose whether you will be controlled by your excuses or whether you will take control of your mind. Every day, you must decide whether you will stay in your comfort zone or push yourself toward growth. And every day, you must remind yourself that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. The hardest part is always the first step, but once you prove to yourself that you can push through, you become unstoppable. The more you train your mind to reject excuses, the easier it becomes to take action. And soon, what once seemed impossible will become second nature. You will develop a mindset of resilience, a mindset of strength, a mindset that refuses to be defeated by anything, not fear, not doubt, not failure. Your greatest enemy is not the world around you. It is the voice inside your head that tells you to take it easy, to give up, to stay where you are. But now, you know the truth. That voice is a liar. You have the power to silence it. You have the power to push through. You have the power to break free from every limitation you once believed in. And when you do, you will see what you are truly capable of. You will see that you were never weak, never incapable, never meant to live a life of mediocrity. You are always meant for more. But to claim that life, you must do what most people will never do. You must break through your mental barriers and refuse to let excuses win. The power of small wins and consistency. Success is not built in a single moment of inspiration. It is forged through small, consistent actions repeated every single day. The problem is that most people believe they need massive effort to create change. They think success comes from sudden breakthroughs, but the truth is, greatness is built in the smallest decisions. It is not the single act of discipline that changes your life, but the habit of choosing discipline over and over again. Every great achievement is simply the result of thousands of small wins that compounded over time. Your brain is wired to seek instant gratification. It wants quick results, immediate rewards, and visible progress. That is why people quit when they don't see immediate success. But the greatest secret to success is this: the real progress happens in the moments when it feels like nothing is happening. The days you push through, even when you don't see results, are the days that build your future. Most people give up too soon, not realizing that consistency is what turns effort into mastery. Think about it. A single drop of water means nothing, but over time, those drops carve through stone. A single workout won't transform your body, but repeated every day, it will make you stronger. Reading a single page won't make you wise, but reading every day will shape your mind. Small wins may seem insignificant at the moment, but when repeated, they create unstoppable momentum. This is how successful people operate. They focus on doing the small things right, every single day, knowing that greatness is built one step at a time. The biggest enemy of success is inconsistency. Most people start strong but lose motivation when things get hard. They work hard for a week, then slow down. They push themselves for a month, then give up. They don't realize that quitting resets all progress. It is not talent, intelligence, or luck that separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It is consistency. The ability to keep going, even when it feels boring, even when no one is watching, even when there are no immediate results. Your brain will always try to trick you into taking breaks, into slowing down, into postponing effort for tomorrow. But the secret is to outsmart your own mind. You must train yourself to find motivation in small victories. Celebrate every bit of progress, no matter how small. Every day you wake up early is a win. Every time you choose to work hard instead of making excuses is a win. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you are reinforcing the mindset of success. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not intelligence, it is resilience. It is the ability to keep showing up, to keep putting in the work, to keep taking small steps forward. Progress is never linear. There will be days when you feel like you are moving backward. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, and exhaustion. But every time you choose to keep going, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. Your comfort zone will always try to hold you back. It will convince you that skipping one day won't hurt, that taking a break is fine, that you can always start again later. But one day turns into a week turns into a month, and before you know it, you are back to square one. That is why you must train yourself to win the small battles every day. It is not about doing something massive once, it is about showing up consistently, no matter what. Success is not built overnight, but failure happens in an instant. The moment you choose comfort over discipline, the moment you allow excuses to take over, you set yourself on the path of mediocrity. But the good news is that the opposite is also true. The moment you decide to be consistent, to commit to small wins, to push forward no matter what, you begin to build a mindset that guarantees success. Every great achiever in history mastered the power of consistency. They were not the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. They were simply the ones who refused to quit. They understood that effort compounds over time, that discipline grows stronger with use, and that small daily actions create unstoppable momentum. If you want to change your life, start by winning today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Train your brain to find satisfaction in progress, not perfection. Too many people never start because they fear they won't be perfect. But success is not about being perfect. It is about improving a little every single day. One workout, 1 hour of focus, 1 act of discipline. These are the things that will transform your life. No step is too small, because every step moves you forward. At this moment, you have 2 choices. You can continue waiting for motivation, hoping for the perfect time, making excuses for why you are not ready. Or you can decide that today is the day you take control. It doesn't matter how small your first step is, as long as you take it. Because once you start, once you prove to yourself that you are capable of consistency, nothing will be able to stop you. If this message has motivated you, don't let it end here. Like, share, and subscribe to United Sports for more powerful content that will push you towards greatness. And remember, success is not about intensity, it is about consistency. Win the small battles, and you will win the war. Mastering self-control, becoming the person who does the hard things. Self-control is the foundation of success, but most people never master it because they let their emotions dictate their actions. They wait until they feel like it, before they take action, not realizing that feelings are unreliable. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who always feel motivated, but the ones who act even when they don't want to. If you can train yourself to take action regardless of how you feel, you will separate yourself from 99% of the world. Mastering self-control starts with understanding one thing. Your mind is designed to resist difficult tasks. Every time you push yourself to do something uncomfortable, your brain will try to convince you to stop. It will tell you to take a break, to do it later, to give up. This resistance is not a sign to stop, it's a sign that you're on the right path. The more resistance you feel, the more important the task is for your growth. The key is to recognize these mental barriers and push through them instead of surrendering. Think of self-control like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you choose effort over ease, you are training your mind to obey you instead of controlling you. But just like a muscle, self-control weakens if you don't exercise it. If you constantly give in to your impulses, if you let distractions control you, if you avoid hard things, you will lose the ability to push yourself when it truly matters. The only way to build self-discipline is to practice it daily, in every small decision you make. The reason most people struggle with self-control is that they don't make conscious decisions, they act on autopilot. They reach for their phone without thinking. They scroll through social media for hours without realizing. They eat junk food out of habit. They don't even recognize how much control they have lost. But the moment you become aware of your actions, you take back your power. Self-mastery begins when you start questioning your impulses. Why am I reaching for my phone right now? Do I really need to eat this? Is this decision helping me or hurting me? The more you question yourself, the more control you gain. Self-control is also about learning to delay gratification. Weak-minded people want instant results, instant pleasure, instant success. But strong-minded people understand that real success takes time. They don't chase quick dopamine hits. They don't need instant rewards. They are willing to endure discomfort today for a better tomorrow. If you can teach yourself to resist short-term pleasure in exchange for long-term success, you will unlock a level of power that most people never experience. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen self-control is to create an environment that forces you to stay disciplined. If you are constantly distracted, it's not because you have no discipline, it's because your environment is designed to break your focus. If you keep unhealthy food in your house, you will eat it. If you keep your phone next to you while working, you will check it. Willpower alone is not enough. You must structure your life in a way that makes success easier and failure harder. Remove distractions, set clear boundaries, and create an environment that supports your goals. Another crucial factor in mastering self-control is understanding the power of routines. The most disciplined people don't waste time deciding what to do next. They follow a structured routine that eliminates decision fatigue. When you have a clear system in place, you don't need motivation because the decision is already made. You wake up and start working. You go to the gym without thinking. You stick to your schedule without negotiation. The less you rely on willpower and the more you rely on systems, the easier self-control becomes. There will always be moments when your mind tries to convince you to quit. That's when you must remind yourself why you started. If your goal is not strong enough, you will give up when things get hard. But if your purpose is powerful, no amount of resistance can stop you. The people who achieve greatness are the ones who have a deep, unshakable reason behind their actions. They don't rely on weak motivation. They have a vision so strong that quitting is never an option. Find your reason, and you will find your strength. One of the most dangerous habits that destroys self-control is making excuses. Every time you tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," you are training your brain to accept procrastination. Every time you say, "I don't have time," you are lying to yourself. The truth is, you always have time for what you truly prioritize. If something is important enough, you will make time for it. The question is not whether you have time, the question is whether you have the discipline to use your time wisely. Mastering self-control does not mean you will never feel lazy, distracted, or unmotivated. It means that when those feelings arise, you don't let them control you. You acknowledge them, but you don't obey them. You feel tired, but you work anyway. You feel like quitting, but you keep going. You feel tempted, but you resist. This is what separates the average from the great. The ability to act despite how you feel is the ultimate form of power. When you develop self-control, you no longer need external motivation because discipline becomes your default setting. You don't wait for the perfect moment, you create it. You don't wait for inspiration, you take action. You don't let life push you around, you take control of your life. And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. Self-mastery is the ultimate goal. When you become the kind of person who does the hard things without hesitation, nothing can stop you. Your mind becomes your servant, not your master. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop allowing distractions to steal your potential. You stop waiting for change, you create it. And when you reach this level of control, you realize that success was never about luck, talent, or circumstances. It was always about you versus you. Like, share, and subscribe to United Sports for more powerful lessons that push you to become the best version of yourself. Take control of your mind, master your self-discipline, and watch how your life transforms.